Have you ever looked at your bank account and felt that knot in your stomach? That quiet voice wondering if you'll ever break free from living paycheck to paycheck? I'm Linda.
And I'm Chantel. Welcome to She Rises, the podcast where we have real conversations about women taking control of their financial futures.
Today, we're diving deep into a topic that changed both our lives, exploring financial independence, not just as a distant dream, but as a tangible reality that's within your reach.
You know, Linda, I remember sitting at my kitchen table 3 years ago, surrounded by bills, feeling completely overwhelmed. I was making good money, but somehow it was never enough.
I've been there too. It's like having this invisible ceiling that keeps you trapped no matter how hard you work. But here's what fascinates me. Why do so many brilliant, capable women struggle with building wealth?
That's our million-dollar question today, and I promise by the end of this episode, we'll uncover that mystery together.
Let's start with something that happened to me last month. I was having coffee with my old college roommate, Sophia. On paper, she's successful, great job, beautiful apartment. But when the check came, I saw that flash of panic in her eyes before she quickly suggested splitting it.
That moment of financial anxiety, I know it well.
Exactly. Later, she confessed she was living paycheck to paycheck despite making six figures. She felt like such a failure. And I told her what I'll tell all of you listening now. Financial independence isn't about your salary. It's about your relationship with money.
That's so true. For me, the journey began when I realized I'd inherited my mother's financial fears. She grew up during tough economic times and always viewed money as scarce. I unconsciously adopted that same mindset, always saving for emergencies but never investing for growth.
It's amazing how these money stories shape us, isn't it? Dr. Sarah Thompson, a financial psychologist, calls this financial imprinting. Her research shows that 67% of women's money behaviors stem from childhood experiences rather than actual financial knowledge.
Which brings me to my transformation story. Remember when I was terrified to invest anything beyond my company's 401k?
Oh, yes, you called the stock market legalized gambling.
I did. But then I read about the historical performance of diversified investments compared to keeping money in savings, and I realized my safe approach was actually costing me thousands in potential growth each year.
This leads to our second big question of the day. Have you ever noticed how some women seem completely comfortable talking about investments and financial strategies while others shy away from these conversations entirely?
We'll circle back to that, but first, let me share what changed for me. I started with just $50 a month in a simple index fund. Small enough that I wouldn't panic, but enough to start building the habit. Within a year, I'd increased it to $500 monthly and started learning about different investment vehicles.
That gradual approach is so important. My story was different. I jumped into financial independence after my divorce. I had to completely rebuild, which was terrifying but also liberating. I created my first ever budget at 37 years old,
And look at you now, leading workshops on financial literacy for women.
which taught me something crucial. Women aren't afraid of finances. We're afraid of making mistakes with money because we've been conditioned to believe we're not good with it.
Dr. Elena Roberts' study on gender and financial confidence found that women actually make better long-term investors than men, with 0.4% higher annual returns on average. We tend to research more thoroughly and panic sell less frequently during market fluctuations.
Yet so many of us don't see ourselves that way. Remember earlier when we asked why some women seem so comfortable discussing investments? The answer isn't financial literacy, it's financial confidence.
Absolutely. The women who appear comfortable with money conversations usually had someone who normalized these discussions early on. They had financial role models or mentors.
And if you didn't have that growing up, guess what? You can create that environment now. This podcast is part of that for us, creating a space where financial discussions feel like conversations between friends.
Let's talk practical steps. For me, the turning point was breaking financial independence into smaller milestones. Instead of thinking, I need $1 million to be financially free, I set a first goal of having 3 months of expenses saved.
I love that approach. My first milestone was paying off my credit card debt, then building an emergency fund, then starting to invest. Each step built my confidence for the next one.
And celebrating those wins matters. I bought myself a small piece of jewelry after reaching each milestone. Not expensive, but symbolic. Now, every time I wear my emerald earrings, I remember reaching my first $10,000 in investments.
For our listeners just starting this journey, here's what I wish someone had told me. Start where you are. If tracking every expense feels overwhelming, just track one category first, like dining out or subscription services.
And find your financial community. The journey to independence can feel lonely, especially if your friends aren't on the same path.
That community piece is crucial. When I started talking openly about my financial goals with my close friends, I discovered two of them were secretly investing in real estate. We now have monthly money dates where we share our progress and challenges.
The beauty of financial independence isn't just the freedom it eventually brings, it's how it transforms your relationship with yourself. There's something incredibly powerful about knowing you can take care of yourself, no matter what happens.
As we wrap up today's episode, remember that financial independence isn't about becoming rich overnight. It's about building a relationship with money where you're in control, not your fears or your past.
We'd love to hear from you. What's your biggest obstacle on the path to financial independence? What small step could you take this week to move forward?
Share your thoughts in the comments or reach out to us on social media. And if you found value in today's conversation, please subscribe and tell a friend about She Rises.
Because when one woman rises financially, she lifts others with her. Until next time, I'm Chantel.
And I'm Linda. Keep rising.